God has chosen you. Answer his call. These words, which Father Coindre addressed to Claudine Thévenet on July 31st, 1818, and the courageous yes of her response, marks the beginning of the Congregation of Jesus and Mary. A very pleasant morning to everyone. Today, we, the students of Class 12 Lily, are here to present the morning assembly to shed light on the life history of our mother foundress, Saint Claudine Thévenet.
Saint Claudine Thévenet, or Mother Mary Saint Ignatius, foundress of the Religious of Jesus and Mary, was born in Lyon on March 30, 1774, and was baptized the following day. She was nicknamed Gladys and was second in a family of 7 children. The first 12 years of her life passed peacefully in her family, where the Christian faith was firmly established.
Claudine, from her father Philibert Thévenet, learned to practice charity towards the weak and the poor. From her mother, she inherited the Christian courage. At the age of 9, her parents entrusted her to the Benedictine nuns of St. Peter's Abbey in Lyon. She received a solid intellectual and spiritual formation, as well as some rudiments of sewing, embroidery, and the like. But above all, she was instilled with a great love of orders and care in all things.
The French Revolution broke out when she was 15. In 1793, she experienced the tragic hours of the siege of Lyons by the government army, and she witnessed the execution in revenge of her 2 brothers after the city fell in January 1794. Their last words, "Forgive, Gladys, as we forgive," remained deep in her heart and her mind, and were to change the course of her life. From now onwards, she would dedicate herself to the relief of the great suffering caused by the revolution. For her, a main source of distress was the people's ignorance of God, and thus was born in her the great desire to make him known to everyone.
God has chosen you. Answer his call. These words, which Father Coindre addressed to Claudine Thévenet, marks the beginning of the Congregation of Jesus and Mary. Claudine was then 19 years of age, and this event was a decisive turning point in her life. She concluded that in all the violence she witnessed, there was more ignorance than malice. The thought of those who live and die without knowing God haunted her and caused her anguish. Far from closing in upon herself in suffering, she opened her heart to the miseries surrounding her. Her response to the call of God took form in the total commitment of herself to the following of Christ. A religious family was born in the church, the Congregation of Religious of Jesus and Mary. The ideal remains the aim of the congregation, with preference inherited from the foundress for the young, and among these for the poor.
Claudine opened her heart to the poor of the parish and the 2 orphans, which marked the beginning of the congregation. A providence had been found. On 31st July 1818, on the feast of Saint Ignatius of Loyola, Claudine and her companions were led in prayer to form the community. On 5th October, she underwent the dark night of the soul, and after much prayer and discernment, she found the congregation on 6th October 1818. A woman, a loom, and orphans were the origins of Congregation of Jesus and Mary.
Saint Claudine Thévenet died on 3rd February 1837 in Lyon, France. Her last words, "How good God is," were a summary of her life in the goodness of Him who had chosen and called her.
Pope John Paul II beatified the late nun on 4th October 1981 in Rome, Italy. The miracle needed for sainthood was investigated and then validated in Rome, which allowed for medical board, theologians, and CCS to approve it. The Pope issued his final approval of her miracle and canonization on 11th July 1992. She was then canonized by Pope John Paul II on 21st March 1993.
In 1842, Sisters of CJM set out for India, where they established their first English medium school, St. Patrick's at Civil Lines, Agra. It is also Asia's oldest convent school. 200 years after the foundation of the congregation, there are now more than 1,800 religious of Jesus and Mary in 180 communities across the 5 continents. With joy and gratitude, they welcome the canonization of the humble and generous daughter of France, whom the Lord chose to be their foundress.
Let us join our hands, close our eyes, and say the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.
In the sun or the pouring rain, even when the winds are strange, when the time comes, you will follow your heart and stand strong. In the sun or the pouring rain, even when the winds are strange, when the time comes, you will follow your heart and stand strong.
A very happy feast day. A very happy feast day.
A very happy feast day.
A very happy feast day.
A very happy feast day to our beloved sisters.
We thank you for your continuous love and support.
May you be showered with God's love and blessing.
Best wishes for the challenges you are to face and for the decisions you have to make.
Every year on 31st July, we celebrate the feast of our mother foundress, Saint Claudine. It is not only to remember her life journey, but also to seek inspiration from her life, imbibe her values, her faith in God, compassion and love, not only for the poor, but for all mankind. She is an epitome of love, sacrifice, faith, and most importantly, her life is an inspiration for each and every woman who is still trying to figure out her journey, her purpose in life. That's all we the students of class 12 Lily have for you today. Thank you and have a blessed day ahead.